is preparing.
नमस्कार मंडळी, मी नमिता वेदक, महाराष्ट्र मंडळ शिकागोची अध्यक्ष. तुम्हा सर्वांचं आजच्या भ्रमण गाथाच्या सेशनवरती स्वागत. हा सेशन आपण महिन्यातून एकदा करतो. नमस्कार मंडळी, मी नमिता वेदक, महाराष्ट्र मंडळ शिकागोची अध्यक्ष. तुम्हा सर्वांचं आजच्या भ्रमण गाथाच्या सेशनवरती स्वागत. हा सेशन आपण महिन्यातून एकदा करतो.
Namita, बोल एक मिनिट. Can you talk? Say something.
Hello, namaskar mandali. Are we ready to go again?
Yeah. No, because there was my YouTube was also on. YouTube speaker was on. I turned it off. So
Okay.
now I think we are good to go.
Okay. All right. नमस्कार मंडळी, मी नमिता वेदक, महाराष्ट्र मंडळ शिकागोची अध्यक्ष. तुम्हा सर्वांचं ह्या आपल्या भ्रमणघाताच्या सेशनवरती स्वागत. आपण हा सेशन महिन्यातून एकदा मंगळवारी घेतो. तर आजच्या आपला टॉपिक एकदमच इम्पॉर्टंट आहे. तो म्हणजे आपला इन्शुरन्स, ट्रॅव्हल इन्शुरन्स. हा आपल्याला बरेच वेळा आपण सगळं बुकिंग करतो आणि मग ते एकदम बॉटमला येतं की ट्रॅव्हल इन्शुरन्स हवाय का, आणि मग आपण बघतो $15-20 आहे, नको नको जाऊन दे, कशाला $20 अजून घालवायचे. अँड ऑफकोर्स दॅट्स वेअर वी मेक अ बिग मिस्टेक. कारण अशा कॅलॅमिटीज सांगून येत नाहीत, पण व्हायच्या असतात तर होतातच. तर आय एम ग्लॅड दॅट वी आर कव्हरिंग दिस सेशन. कारण नुसतीच मजा करण्याच्या व्यतिरिक्त वी नीड टू नो की इन केस समथिंग गोज रॉंग व्हॉट वी नीड टू डू. त्याचबरोबर एक परत आठवण करून देते, आपला बोलका कट्टा आहे या रविवारी सकाळी. तर डेफिनेटली अटेंड करा. वी हॅव अ व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग पर्सनॅलिटी कमिंग फ्रॉम इंडिया ऑन द कॉल, आणि तुम्हाला तो फारच आवडेल प्रोग्राम. तर त्याचं आपण पोस्ट आज संध्याकाळी करूच. आणि ऑफकोर्स अपकमिंग मोठा प्रोग्राम मंडळाचा, विशाल दमलकर माझा ट्रेजरर, त्याचा फेवरेट प्रोग्राम 5K आपण गेली इतकी वर्ष करतच आहोत. या वर्षी पण आपण 3 ऑगस्टला 5K बसीवूड्स मध्ये करणार आहोत. प्लीज साइन अप. इट इज नॉट जस्ट अ रन, इट इज अ वॉक अँड अ रन. जे लोकांनी मागच्या वर्षी अटेंड केलेले त्यांना पुष्कळ मजा पण आली होती, आणि त्याचे प्राइजेस पण आहेत. सो देर आर, नुसतंच चालायचं नाहीये, तर देर आर प्राइजेस, देर आर टी शर्ट्स. इट्स अ बिग सेलिब्रेशन अँड अ हेल्दी, आपल्या हेल्थसाठी करण्यासाठी आपण नक्कीच करायला हवं. सो नक्की जॉईन करा. बाय युअर तिकीट्स, म्हणजे आम्हाला प्रोत्साहन मिळतं अदर एंड बघताना की तिकिटांचा सेल होतोय नाही होतोय, काय काय करायला हवं. तर हे इनसाइडर गोष्ट तुम्हाला सांगते. तर नक्की तिकीटं नक्की विकत घ्या, त्यामुळे आम्हाला पुष्कळ हेल्प होते प्रोग्राम प्लॅनिंगला. आता ह्याच बरोबर मी हा सदर मनोज भट यांच्याकडे देतो. मनोज भट इज नॉट ओनली आपले व्हाईस प्रेसिडेंट पण आहेत, आणि व्हेरी ॲविड आणि गुड ट्रॅव्हलर हू ऑल्सो थिंक्स अहेड ऑफ व्हॉट ही नीड्स टू प्लॅन फॉर. त्यांच्या ह्या प्लॅनिंगच्या सेशनमध्ये आपण पण आता सहभागी होऊया. आणि ओव्हर टू यू मनोज.
थँक्यू. नमस्कार एव्हरीवन, मी मनोज भट, या वर्षीचा व्हाईस प्रेसिडेंट आहे. आणि unlike many other people, I do like to travel, but not to exotic places, but I just like to go a place where I just go relax, sit on the beach and do nothing, right? That's it. But anyway, the thing I want to talk about की ज्या गोष्टी मी नेहमी करत आलोय, आणि एवढे दिवस कधी मला त्याचा उपयोग झाला नाही, पण या मागच्या ट्रिपमध्ये झाला. आय वॉन्ट टू raise awareness ki if things go wrong, can go really wrong, and then what you should do. So that's what I'm going to cover. All right. So first of all, me disclaimer देतो, मी काय तुम्ही इन्शुरन्स विकणार नाही तुम्हाला. I work for companies mentioned in the presentation, आणि मला त्याचा काही बेनिफिट पण मिळणार नाही, मला कमिशन मिळणार नाही आहेत ना. just a disclaimer, just to be clear that I'm not selling anything to you. Okay. So my talk about was they went to a place called Dominican Republic in December, आणि मी वडिलांना घेऊन चाललो होतो माझ्या बहिणीचं तिथे बर्थडे सेलिब्रेट करायला आणि न्यू इयर सेलिब्रेट करायला. And my dad being 90 plus, I did a lot of preparation for that. My things that I do every time, every trip. When I go India, so me always register my trip with the US State Department. And you should do that too, so that if there is anything that happens in the country where you are at, and if you're a US citizen, you can go to the nearest, or the State Department can contact you. You can go to the consulate in that country and get help, etc. Right? So always you should do that with the US State Department, and I did that this year also. Then I always keep a screenshots of my passport on my phone, and also in a draft email, so that in case I lose my passport, I have the copy with me. And lastly, most importantly, I bought travel insurance, and this time I bought it a day before leaving. And that's very important to keep in mind. You cannot, and I'll repeat that again, you must buy the insurance before you leave US. Okay, and I'll mention that again. So this is what I did the day before. Now, this is where we went to, Dominican Republic. Some of you may have gone there, some of you may not have gone there. A very nice country, very popular beaches. It's like Cancun, but better, I'd say, in some respects. Very good coastline right here. Punta Cana नावाची one of the more popular. It's like a Cancun of Dominican Republic. Direct flights to Chicago, about 5 hours roughly, and so that's where we were going. So we reached on the 28th of December, and very next day, my dad had an medical emergency. So the resort doctor hota, he was not a really doctor. I mean, he didn't know anything about what's going on. त्यांनी फक्त थोडं तपासलं आणि लगेच IV लावली, and then we took him to the hospital in Punta Cana. तिथे 2 दिवस होते वडील माझे, and after 2 days, the doctor said, he needs surgery, and we cannot do surgery in Punta Cana. You have to take him to Santo Domingo, which is the capital city, but that's almost 3 hours away. आणि एवढा खर्च येणार. तर आधी आम्हाला वाटलं, माझी बहीण होती, मी होतो, आणि म्हटलं अरे बापरे, हे काहीतरीचा स्कॅम दिसतोय, ट्राईंग टू गेट मनी आउट ऑफ अस. पण वी हॅड नो अदर चॉईस, कारण आम्ही म्हटलं अरे आम्ही US येतो सर्जरी करायला. नो, तो डॉक्टर म्हटलं नो, आय एम नॉट गोना साइन द रिलीज. I'm not going to discharge your dad because he will not survive the plane ride. आता हे ऐकल्यावर म्हटलं अरे बापरे, इफ ही आपण रिस्क कसा घ्या ना, when somebody tells you that your dad will not survive a plane ride, then you obviously don't think about money at that point. You say, okay, all right, let's do that, right? So we said, okay, we'll do what you say. So then I traveled to Santo Domingo in the ambulance, but it's a very poor country actually. But for some, I was very pleased to say that the roads were nice, the ambulance was well equipped, and the drivers, everything were very nice. Nurses hote saga, so there was no issue there. फक्त ऑफकोर्स जाताना ते सायरन लावला तरी लोक बाजूला होत नव्हती, but that was a thing, minor thing. So the ambulance driver had to weave around and go around them. So that was the kind of an interesting thing. But otherwise, the road was very well maintained. There was some garbage around. It's a poor country again. You can see that some poverty here and there, but the ride was good. Now start the challenges. So this is where I was like, oh my God. So now in a strange country, and this is what I wanted to bring out to you, that I've seen many of you travel different countries. If things go wrong, you have to be prepared for it. And one of the biggest thing is language. And this is what I faced right there. I mean, me at the ambulance, आम्ही काहीतरी 5 वाजता पोहोचलो. I was very tired. I was hungry. जेवलो नव्हतं काही मी 3 तासाचा तो ड्राईव्ह. त्याच्या आधी पण आम्ही हॉस्पिटलमध्ये होतो to make sure my dad is all, he is fed and everything. So I was tired, and I reached there at the hospital, and nobody knew English, right? So, and they said, oh, we don't know who he is. Treatment was delayed because the staff was not informed about about his arrival. But luckily, there was a guy standing over there, and he turned out to be a doctor from New York City. So त्याच्या आईला कधी तिथे घेऊन आला. So he was able to help me with translating between English and Spanish. And I was not even prepared for this, right? So that was a big challenge for me right then. The very first thing that I hit was language issue. Then surgery was the next day, which is January 1st. And then, but they said, we will not release your dad right away because he had lung infection. Then pneumonia झाला था प्रकारचा. So that was the other chance. So now our stay got extended. So our 3-day trip became a 12-day trip. 3 दिवसाकरता आम्ही गेलो होतो खरं. पटकन बहिणीचा वाढदिवस, न्यू इयर्स करायचं आणि परत यायचं. म्हणजे 3 दिवसापेक्षा जास्त राहायला नको. But it turned out to be a 12-day trip. Dad was in the hospital for 6 days. So 29th ला admit केलं, this almost 4th of January ला discharge केलं. But then doctor said don't travel and one of the 6 days कारण त्यांना ते हे होतं, इन्फेक्शन होतं, so antibiotics. आणि ते म्हणले don't take a direct flight. कारण त्यांना परत त्रास झाला तर मध्ये काय झालं तर प्रॉब्लेम येईल. 5 hours to Chicago, don't take a 5 hour flight, take 3 hour flights. So that's the other challenge we had was we had to cancel our, I mean, our flights were anyway gone. कारण 3 दिवसाचं होतं. We stayed 12 days. त्यामुळे आम्हाला to take one way flight आम्हाला tickets काढायला लागले. आणि being the first week of January, flights were getting full, so we had to go. And secondly, we had to come through Miami. कारण San Diego, आपलं Santo Domingo to Miami direct flight आहे 2.5 तासाची. So we said, okay, that's good. And then we stayed in Miami, not stayed, waited in Miami and Miami to Chicago केलं. So that was that we had to do. The ambulance and nursing staff, nobody knew English over there. So I stayed in the hospital with my dad. My dad was in the hospital for 6 days. He didn't know what people were saying. He thought he didn't know where he was. He was confused because language is different. He didn't know nothing, right? So it was very traumatic for him. And for me, it was a big challenge because I didn't know. I know a little Spanish, but not medical Spanish, right? All the things to ask. So I was struggling. So hospital room was good, but not soundproof. So माझ्या झोपेचा राडा आला कारण रात्री constant आवाज होता, so I could not sleep well. Then the roads near the hospital, just an FYI here, because you have to be prepared for this. My dad he was on a wheelchair, so taking him outside, not a good idea. कारण तिथे सगळीकडे खड्डे आणि छोटे gutters, so our wheelchair wheels would get stuck in it, right? So things that we came across in there. आणि we had to do some round trips between Santo Domingo आणि Punta Cana, कारण आमचं लगेज अजून तिथेच होतं रिसॉर्टमध्ये. So I had to make a couple of trips back and forth, कारण चेकआउट करायचं होतं. सगळं आमचं ते, we were 3 hours away. So it was one of these challenges, right? So these are the challenges we ran into. But at the same time, we also had some luck on our side, right? So very good things happened, right? And so a few of those things that the people we met in Dominican Republic were excellent, very nice, very helpful. म्हणजे काही strangers who saw me struggling with Spanish, नर्सिंग बोलताना किंवा फार्मसीमध्ये बोलताना 2-3 जण असे थांबले. त्यांनी पाहिलं मला, मी असं स्ट्रगल करते, थांबले, म्हणले काय प्रॉब्लेम आहे, मी सांगितलं, मग लगेच ते ट्रान्सलेट केलं त्यांनी. सो दॅट वॉज इट. लकीली डॉक्टर स्पोक इंग्लिश. त्यामुळे दॅट वॉज द बिगेस्ट एडवांटेज आय थिंक, कारण आय मेट लाईक 3-4 डॉक्टर्स ओव्हर देअर, ऑल स्पोक गुड इंग्लिश, म्हणजे अंडरस्टँडेबल इंग्लिश, नॉट द व्हेरी फ्लुएंट नव्हते, but I could understand their English, they understand us. And a good thing I found was that they were very responsive. मी त्यांना टेक्स्ट केला, 10 मिनिटांमध्ये रिप्लाय आला होता. And these were the busy doctors, right? So I didn't expect any message from them, but I was really surprised that they were so prompt in responding back. The hospital was very clean and well staffed, and that was also very surprising. So these are the factors that made our challenges मिनिमाइज देम. कारण आम्ही जे आधीचे वी वॉज ऑल स्ट्रेस्ड आउट आणि एव्हरीथिंग, पण या चांगल्या गोष्टी झाल्यामुळे आम्ही थोडंसं आम्हाला वी वर बिट फिलिंग बेटर, नॉट फॉर माय डॅड, बट ॲटलीस्ट ओके बाबा, तो आता प्रॉब्लेम आम्हाला नाहीये. देर इज नो फिल्थ, घाणेरडी हॉस्पिटल नाहीये. इनफॅक्ट हे सगळं आम्ही तिथे असताना एक मी वाचायला लागलो वेन आय टाइम. अरे म्हटलं, अरे देन आय रेड द युएस स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट सेड that DR has one of the best hospitals in the Caribbean. I said, wow, I didn't know that. So that was a good thing. But again, did not prepare for it before going. And that's something I want to bring out to you in this thing is prepare before you go to any place you're going. Find out what the hospital situation is over there, right? Good service was good. Taxi guy we met was very nice. In fact, the guy, taxi driver who took us between Santo Domingo and Punta Cana twice. Then he might text Kala after I came back, how's your father doing? In his broken English, So I said, wow, that was, I think, took a lot of our stress away with the people, right? And lastly, it was like, I did not feel unsafe. I mean, I've gone to Mexico a few times, Cancun, La Presa, Geloe. For some reason, I felt DR was safe. I felt safer. I mean, in fact, me ekda ratri, पहाटे 3 वाजता आलो, taxi घेऊन from the hospital to the resort. काही problem nahi. I didn't feel unsafe at all over there, right? So again, some of the pluses that I saw over there. Then तिथे अमेरिकन आपले सगळं होते, रेस्टॉरंट्स होते, हॉटेल्स होते. सो रॅडिसन मामा मिळालं 5 मिनिटावर in a good part of the city. So again, another luck factor. The hotel staff told me, don't walk in the evening. आणि तिने मला वॉर्न केलं. म्हटलं ओके ठीक आहे. सो आय डिड नॉट गो आउट एनिवेअर इन द इव्हनिंग. तिथे रेस्टॉरंट्स तिथेच खायचो मी हॉटेलमध्ये. पण दिवसा उजेडी वॉजंट व्हेरी बॅड ऍक्च्युली. कारण एकदा मी पहिल्यांदा बाहेर पडलो सकाळी, म्हटलं आय वॉज अ बिट हेजिटेंट की काय करावं. पण आय सॉ अ लेडी वॉक बाय with a backpack and probably going to work. I said, must be a safe area. So I started walking and then reached the hospital. So these were the things that I unknown hote. But I read about DR when I got time. It was not a safe thing because of Haiti. Haiti जी आहे कंट्री तिकडची बरीच लोक आली आहेत, पॉवर्टी आहे, चोऱ्या होत्यात आणि ती इनफॅक्ट मी तिकडची घरं बघितली, सगळ्यांना जाळ्या होत्या. ते हे असतात ना गर्ल्स, almost every house that I saw over there had high walls आणि spikes on the top. So it was meant for to deter thieves. But आम्ही तिथे होतो जवळजवळ 12 दिवस. ATM मध्ये गेलो, ग्रोसरीज घेतल्या, खायला, आम्हाला तरी काय असा प्रॉब्लेम आला नाही. पण अगेन, that doesn't mean that there aren't problems over there, right? So now here's where the more of a gist of my talk is that having insurance helped us a lot, right? So when I bought the insurance, I just, you know what, I'll take $100,000 insurance coverage, no deductible, and which allows pre-existing conditions. My dad being 90 plus, he has got BP and everything. So I said, let me get that. And secondly, this insurance that I bought, and I'll mention that, they have a concept called GOP, guarantee of payment. ते असल्यामुळे I didn't have to pay anything upfront, right? नाही तर तिथे गेल्या गेल्या आणि तुम्ही बघा आमचं बिल झालं $41,000 बिल आलं, right? So just imagine that if I didn't have a GOP, मला क्रेडिट कार्डवर तेवढे चार्ज करायला लागले असते. And one credit card normally has like a $20,000 limit. So I would have to increase it just so that we can get the service, get the treatment done, and then they'll discharge us, right? So having an insurance, I think, was a huge blessing. And the insurance company, I'm going to mention that in the next slide, this whole thing about the GOP, guarantee of payment, एक phone call केला फक्त मी त्या insurance companyला, and they said, okay, what is the name of the hospital and how much do they want? I give them the price, and they said, okay, we are sending an email over to them as a GOP, and right away I got a copy of it. Within an hour, I had the copy in my email, and then that copy also went to the hospital, and the hospital said, okay, we're going to take your dad in for the surgery or whatever, right? So, and again, there's a couple of times that I had to call the insurance company to get a GOP. Because after surgery, there was a couple of times that there were things had to be done. Urine test hoti, blood test hoti. Tyakarta suddha, I just had to call the insurance company, get the GOP, and did not have to pay anything with my credit card. The insurance company sent the GOP to the hospital, and they let us in right away. तोपर्यंत आम्ही थांबवतो बाहेर in the lobby. As soon as they got it, we were taken in and for the test. So this was again once a big plus. Then there was a trip interruption असतो. तुम्ही बघितलं असेल बाकी insurance याच्यामध्ये baggage, lost baggage, हे सगळं होतं. पण I think the biggest thing was this medical insurance in this case, right? So trip interruption थोडंसं त्यांनी कव्हर केलं, not a whole lot. I mean 12 दिवसाचं आमचं हॉटेल होतं, फूड होतं, सगळं होतं. I didn't expect the insurance company to give us that. I was happy that they covered the medical side of things, right? And then another thing that I was also surprised was that I bought the insurance for 3 days when I left. That became 12 days. All I had to do was make a phone call while he's in the hospital, sitting in the hospital. I made a phone call. Can you please extend our insurance to 4 days or 5 days? And they said, yeah, sure. And थोडे पैसे एक्स्ट्रा द्यायचो मी तिथल्या तिथे. And they extended my insurance all the way. मी माझा पण काढला होता, वडिलांचा पण काढला होता. आणि दोघांचे इन्शुरन्स मी एक्सटेंड केलं, 2दा एक्सटेंड केला ऍक्च्युली. कारण माहित होतं ना आम्ही किती दिवस तिथे असणार. आधी 3 दिवसाचं मी काहीतरी 6 दिवस केलं का, something like that. And finally I said, you know what, I'm going to just take it all the way to the 15th of January, something like that. असं मी एक्सटेंड करून टाकलं. म्हटलं परत ते कॉल करायला नको त्यांना. So this is another advantage I saw of this particular insurance company, that they allow you to extend the insurance while you are in that country, right? So these are the things that helped us. जे आधी मी कधी इन्शुरन्स घ्यायचो, but never had the misfortune of using it. But this time I used it and I learned about it, and I was glad I bought insurance before leaving the country, right? And so this is the company that I highly recommend, called Geo Blue. It is somewhat related to Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's the blue eye tite, and Geo means global geographical thing. So there is some relationship with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So it's a big company, somewhat tied to Blue Cross Blue Shield, not directly. And there's other companies too. Alliance Nauchi company, I think. But this is the one that I did some investigation and I found it and I bought it. And the thing is that जे मला तिथे गेलं जे कळलं, जायच्या आधी मी बघितलं नव्हतं. पण as luck would have it, the hospitals we went to were in network, right? हे पण तेव्हा आधी जायच्या आधी माहित नव्हतं मला. right? तिथे गेल्यावर मी आपलं बसलो होतो म्हटलं बघावं तरी आता काय, I'm in the hospital now. What next, right? So I started looking at the website. Oh, wow, this hospital that I'm in right now is in network. Fantastic, right? So I don't have to worry about that one thing, right? की out of network आणि ते extra भरा तो पण problem नाही आला, right? So in that way, you're lucky. Very efficient and helpful customer service. I was really surprised with it. And then again, extending insurance coverage was another pleasant surprise. Fakta, you have to buy the insurance before leaving. And this was something that they asked me. They told me, send us your itinerary. They wanted to see what day we left the US and what day we went to the hospital. They needed the proof. त्यामुळे I had the proof with me, which is my the PNR number and सगळं. आणि ते त्यांना फॉरवर्ड केलं ईमेलनी, सगळं तिथे बसल्या बसल्या करायला लागला मला. Was not prepared for it, but luckily I had everything with me in a PDF. The other thing that I want to mention is that for Geo Blue, you must have a primary medical coverage in the US. तुमचा US coverage पाहिजे. If you're Medicare, Medicaid, I think Medicaid may not be I think I read somewhere that Medicaid, if you're on Medicaid, they don't consider that as coverage. So that may be an issue. So you need to check though, right? So there may be other insurance companies. And the reason I mentioned that is because as we grow older and after retirement, we start traveling more, you may be on Medicare, check again. Make sure the insurance you're buying does allow Medicare as your primary coverage before they give you the travel insurance, right? In my dad's case, it was the Obamacare, so it was covered, all right? My dad has Obamacare, so that was not an issue. But if he was in Medicare, I would have to do something else then, right? So just an FYI there. So some recommendations, please, based on my experience, please get insurance. It is not expensive at all. मी जे माझा इन्शुरन्स घेतला तो $100 आसपास होता, right? Less than $100. माझ्या वडिलांचा ऑफकोर्स जास्त होता कारण एजमुळे. So it is not too expensive. $500 पडले वडिलांची इन्शुरन्स for the whole 12 days medical. So $500 is the insurance premium, but the bill you saw was $41,000, right? Is nothing, right? $500 गेले मला वाईट नाही, but they covered a bulk of that thing. माझे काहीतरी 100 होते, so dollar for the premiums, which is still not bad. And the reason I'm mentioning that buy this insurance because your medical insurance may not cover everything, may or may not, right? I don't know. You need to look at that, may or may not. And I looked at it. I said, okay, may insurance मी नंतर आल्यावर सगळं रिसर्च केला, तिथे असं रिसर्च करत होतो मी. कारण एकदा तुमच्या ती वेळ आली की तुम्ही then you become more like thinking, oh my God, what if तुमच्या डोक्यात येतात ना की हे नसतं केलं तर काय झालं असतं. So all these things I started reading about it. आणि तेव्हा लक्षात आलं की जर मी नसता घेतला इन्शुरन्स तर येस दे वुड हॅव कवर्ड इमर्जन्सी केअर. पण तिथे गेल्यावर मला अपफ्रंट सगळे पैसे भरायला लागले असते. ऑल $41,000 माझ्या क्रेडिट कार्डवर टाकले असते मी. परत आल्यावर आय वुड हॅव टू नाव फाईट विथ इन्शुरन्स कंपनीज टू गेट द मनी बॅक. सो त्यात मग वेळ गेला असता सगळा बेसिकली हेडेक आणि सगळं स्ट्रेस. कदाचित सगळे पैसे मिळाले असते, कदाचित नसते मिळाले. पण दॅट्स अ हॅसल दॅट आय डिडंट वॉन्ट टू गो थ्रू when I already have my dad who's sick. Even after coming back, he needed assistance, right? And some credit card companies, some credit cards do offer medical and travel benefit, but it's not full. And I think I read in my credit card, they only cover $2,000, up to $2,000 in medical care. That's it, which is nothing, right? If you get a serious injury or something, it'll get more than $2,000. It'll not be enough, right? Then you will have to pay everything up front over there. And in fact, मी सांगतो तुम्हाला, मी जेव्हा होतो हॉस्पिटल्समध्ये, स्पेशली पुंटा कानामध्ये, all I saw were tourists. तिथे लोकल कोण दिसले नाही मला. All tourists होते. कारण it's a tourist town, lot of resorts, lot of people coming there, and somebody gets hurt. And I saw many people over there sitting in the waiting room, and they were not locals, right? Americans किंवा British किंवा आणि होते. So it is possible that you might somebody has gotten hurt. That's why having some kind of a protection is a must, right? And अजून एक होतं medical evacuation, right? So this would have mattered, and this itself can cost you $60,000 is a medical evacuation flight असते ती. So we even thought about that. We even talked to the doctor over there. Hey, we will take our dad in a medical evac plane to Miami, right? Or to Chicago. And the insurance would have covered it. But because the doctor म्हटला, no, he's not going to allow us to do that, right? Because he said, any flight that we take, my dad will not survive, right? So that's why we dropped that idea. But that is available. If you are if you need to get medically evacuated in a medvac म्हणतात त्याला, yes, that's available and that's covered by the insurance company, right? So again, check with the insurance company before going if they do allow medical evacuation. And lastly, check the coverage, pre-existing conditions, deductibles, etc. So हे जे normally आपण इथे करतो अमेरिकेमध्ये, आपले इन्शुरन्स डिडक्टिबल्स काय, pre-existing conditions काय, हे काही इन्शुरन्स कंपन्या तुम्ही घ्यायच्या आधी प्लीज घ्या, नाही तर परत you'll have issues with it, right? That they will not cover pre-existing conditions, for example, right? So GeoBlue had this option where they did allow pre-existing conditions. It was $100,000 coverage, and if I tell you the price, it wasn't much at all, right? So, and it helped. And then make sure before you go to the destination, some of you may be doing this, but if not, at least keep this in mind. हॉस्पिटल्स कुठले ते फाइंड आउट करा तुम्ही, राईट? जे आता माझ्या एक्सपिरियन्स होता, मी आता नेक्स्ट टाइम सुरू केले, कुठे गेलो तरी बघणार, अरे इथे जवळच हॉस्पिटल कुठे आहे, चांगला आहे का, त्याच्याबद्दल रिसर्च केला पाहिजे, कारण यू नेव्हर नो व्हॉट कॅन हॅपन, राईट? नंतर व्हिजिट द स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट वेबसाईट अँड रीड अबाउट दॅट कंट्री यू गोइंग टू. त्यांचे काही त्यांनी प्रिकॉशन्स दिलेत का? कारण मी करायचो इवन बिफोर दिस ट्रिप. एव्हरी टाइम आय वेंट टू मेक्सिको or anything, I always check the website to say, have they given any warnings? त्याचे कलर्स असतात, yellow, green, red. Red meaning जाऊ नका अजिबात, right? And they do have red warnings for certain parts of Mexico. Don't even go there. Cancunच्या इकडे कधी कधी ऑरेंज असतो, कधी कधी like a warning. Be aware, right? So ते नक्कीच हेल्पफुल असतं US स्टेट डिपार्टमेंटचं. नंतर this is most important was Google Translate. This was a lifesaver for me. मी तिथे डाउनलोड केला ऍप and I was able to communicate with the nurses with Google Translate. मी बोलायचो त्या फोनमध्ये, it would translate into Spanish, and I would give my phone to the nurse. She would read it and then do the exact opposite. She would speak in Spanish. English मध्ये ती वाचायचो. हे आमचं इतकेदा त्यात झालं आमचं की it was really very time consuming, but had to be done because I didn't know what they were saying, right? And they didn't understand me. So Google Translate app was a lifesaver. कारण at night especially, रात्रीच्या वेळी कोणतरी नर्स यायची आणि मला काही विचारायची ती आणि मला कळायचं नाही काय म्हणते ती. कारण माझं स्पॅनिश एवढं काही चांगलं नाहीये. आय नो बेसिक स्टफ, राईट, टू आस्क फॉर मिल्क और फॉर वॉटर अँड समथिंग, बट नॉट टू टॉक अबाउट मेडिकल स्टफ, राईट? सो ते त्याचा खूप फायदा झाला. आणि दोज नर्सेस आय सॉ वर व्हेरी यूज टू इट, कारण they didn't find it odd that I'm asking them or using the app. They were probably used to this happening to them. So please download that Translate app on your phones, or you may have other translation apps that you can use, but I use Google Translate for that, right? In fact, the taxi driver शी सुद्धा बोलताना I use Translate for that. त्याला सांगायचं होतं, अरे इथे जायचंय मला, त्याला इंग्लिश येत नव्हतं. So we again use Translate to say, I want to go to Santo Domingo, to this hospital. बोलायचं, it will read out in Spanish or type in Spanish. You read it and then go on from there, right? Another thing that I ran into was that for some reason there was a setting in my T-Mobile account that I could not make an international call from outside the country, right? So I ran into that problem the very next day. मी आपला ट्राय करतो, फोन लागतच नव्हता. मग मला इथे मुलाला फोन केला, then he logged into my account, he found the setting, then they changed it. Then from then on, I was able to call the insurance company from Dominican Republic. Nahitar I was would have been a problem for me. Also that I always do is that find where the nearest US consulate is. Jithe jithe jaal tumi, make sure that you know where the consulate is, the nearest consulate is, just in case something happens, right? And lastly, if the resort has any clinic on site, most of them do. Maybe you should visit it and see, based on my experience, is there a real doctor over there? का आपलं नुसतं nurse आहे कोणतरी का काय थोडंसं माहिती आहे त्याला. आमच्या रिसॉर्टमध्ये तरी that person did not do anything at all, right? He just said, I'm just going to put an IV and that's it, and take you in an ambulance. So if there's something that has to be done right away, you cannot expect that to happen over there, right? In the resort's clinic, because they're not equipped for every eventuality, right? So you have to check on that as well. All right, and keep a record of what happened. So I kept a record of exactly कुठल्या दिवशी काय झालं, what did the doctor say. So this is not only for me, but also if I have to deal with insurance companies later on, की काय झालं ते, they ask questions, काय झालं, सगळं रेकॉर्ड ठेवा तुम्ही. आणि be prepared to spend time when you come back. I came back in like 9th of January. I spent the whole month of January and part of February in going back and forth with the insurance company, with the hospital. Because hospital made a lot of mistakes, actually. आणि जर if my and there's always a time period, right? I think what I read later on is that you have to submit the claims within 3 months or something like that, right? So I was like, I knew, and I was like, constantly every day I was checking the website to see if the claim was submitted by the hospital and is it rejected or not, right? So, and I noticed that some of the claims were rejected. So I called the insurance company. Why they rejected? They said hospitals sent the wrong information for the wrong patient. So असं होऊ शकतं. त्यामुळे इनफॅक्ट मला ह्याला डिस्चार्ज मिळायला सुद्धा वेळ लागला. वी वर सपोज टू गेट द डिस्चार्ज ॲट अबाउट 1 PM. आम्ही तिथे 6 पर्यंत तिथे बसलो होतो हॉस्पिटलमध्ये, कारण डिस्चार्ज द्यायला वेळ लागला. आय डिड नॉट नो दॅट हॉस्पिटल सेंड द रॉंग पेशंट्स इन्फॉर्मेशन टू इन्शुरन्स कंपनी. त्यामुळे आम्हाला माहितच नव्हतं की हे वडिलांचं पाठवण्यापेक्षा तरी भलत्याचं पाठवलं त्यांना. सो वी लॉस्ट लाईक फ्यू आवर्स ऑफ टाइम सिटिंग ओव्हर देअर. स्पॅनिश येत नव्हतं आणि ते बोलण्यामध्ये आधी प्रॉब्लेम. सो तो इश्यू आला आम्हाला की अगेन द हॉस्पिटल्स मेड लॉट ऑफ मिस्टेक्स आणि मला सारखं बॅक अँड फोर्थ जायला लागलं. इट इज स्टिल वर्थ इट, कारण at the end of the day, if the claims get rejected, I still have to pay it back, right? The hospital Jyoti, they had an office in Florida, so they're not like I had to send the money to DR. They had office in Florida again. So I found an English-speaking agent, and I was communicating with that agent email almost every day until they submitted the correct claims and they were approved by the insurance company and paid. So that took a month and a half almost. So that's something that I be prepared for that. May or may not happen, but in my case with this hala, so you have to be prepared for those kind of things, right? And if you go to Dominican Republic and if you go to Punta Cana, if you have not gone there, go there. It's a very nice place, nice resorts. Very, very good seashore छान आहे, सगळं चांगलं आहे. So these are the hospitals that I want you to keep in mind before you go. So these are the ones that I went to. Centro Medico in Punta Cana. It's mainly for tourists. आणि त्यांच्याकडे इंटरनॅशनल ऑफिस पण आहे जिथे इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग स्टाफ आहे. नॉट इन द नर्सिंग. नर्सेस सगळे स्पॅनिश बोलतात. पण हॉस्पिटलमध्ये ड्युरिंग द डे देर इज ए इंटरनॅशनल ऑफिस म्हणतात त्याला, where they have English speaking staff, they can help you with things, right? So that's mainly for a touristy kind of a hospital. Very nice, very clean, very modern. And if you go to Santo Domingo, this is the name of that hospital we were at, Clínica Corazones Unidos. Mainly for local patients, कारण तिथे मला जास्त टुरिस्ट दिसले नाही कोणी, त्यामुळे त्यांच्याकडे जास्त इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग स्टाफ पण नव्हता, पण very good doctors. So it's only 3 hours away, and I hope nobody has to go through this, what I did going through. But just in case, you have this information that will help you. So you don't, when you go there, when somebody's sick and you're stressed out, this is the last thing you should be on your mind, is that where to go, which hospital to go, right? So keep this information in mind if you go to DR. Hopefully it'll help you. Once again, I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. But in case you do, keep this in mind, right? So that is it from me. Any questions?
So before, sorry, Priyesh बोलतोय. Namita, before we go into the questions, do you want to conclude the sessions and we can stop the YouTube?
I'll cover.
Yeah,
Priyesh.
Ratnangi will do it.
Yeah.
But can
thank
we,
you,
एक minute, Ratnangi, can we get the share screen out, please?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
नाही, थँक्यू मनोज. बापरे, एकदम फारच छान सेशन होतं आणि मी तोच विचार करत होते की एकही फोटो व्हिडिओ नसताना वी हॅव 24 पीपल ऑन द कॉल.
सगळ्यात जास्त अटेंडन्स.
हो, जास्त अटेंडन्स आणि एव्हरीबडी वॉज लिटरली लिसनिंग. आणि जेव्हा तू पप्पांचं सांगितलंस तेव्हा म्हणजे ऍक्च्युली थोडंसं धडधडत पण होतं की काय झालं असेल तुझं तिकडे, राईट, आणि तुझ्या बहिणीचं पण. This was one of the best sessions आणि थँक्यू फॉर गिव्हिंग ऑल द इन्फॉर्मेशन. अगदी म्हणजे हॉस्पिटल्स, गुगल ट्रान्सलेट ऍप मी ऍक्च्युली लगेच डाउनलोड पण केलं जस्ट टू गेट इट. आणि आय एम गोइंग टू, आय थिंक, बुकमार्क दिस सेशन. आय हॅवंट बीन टू पुंटा काना, पण आता नक्की प्लॅन करताना हे सगळी इन्फॉर्मेशन विल बी व्हेरी व्हेरी हेल्पफुल. त्यामुळे थँक्यू सो मच. आणि एवढ्या शॉर्ट नोटीसवर अकोमोडेट केल्याबद्दल पण खूप धन्यवाद. कारण अरुणाताईंना त्यावेळी नाही जमलं काही अपरिहार्य कारणामुळे, पण थँक्यू सो मच.
You're welcome. Very much welcome.
Yeah. We'll take one quick input from Vishal, and then we can close the YouTube session. We can continue with questions.
नाही, मला क्वेश्चन नाही ऍक्च्युली. तर माझा क्वेश्चन हा आहे मदत सर, की ते ज्यावेळेला तुम्ही ट्रॅव्हल इन्शुरन्स घेत होतात, एम आय ऑडिबल?
येस.
म्हणजे हे वेगवेगळे टाईपचे किती असतात किंवा काय काय आयडिया आहे का? म्हणजे कारण का आय एम रिअली व्हेरी नो आई. म्हणजे ज्यावेळेला माझी आई वगैरे येते त्यावेळेला असं कुठलं तरी 7 स्टार वगैरे असं काहीतरी इन्शुरन्स
7 corners.
7 कॉर्नर करेक्ट. हा, पण किती प्रकारचे असतात किंवा काय, म्हणजे काही आयडिया आहे का?
आता तसे प्रकार खूप आहेत आणि एक लक्षात ठेव की आता सपोज तुझी मॉम इथे आली तर शी नॉट, आणि तू तुझ्या आईला घेऊन पुढे गेलास मेक्सिकोला, तो दॅट इज यू कॅनॉट बाय जिओ ब्लू फॉर दॅट, कारण युअर मदर डझंट हॅव US इन्शुरन्स.
राईट.
So that's so keep in mind. So 7 corners. मला माहिती आहे कारण मी वडिलांचे करता घ्यायचो पूर्वी, before he became a green card, got a green card.
Right.
7 corners घ्यायचो. So that is a more of a travel insurance for people coming from India to coming to this country, right? What I'm talking about is going from US to another country.
Right. I mean, my question was more so from that point of view. की किती प्रकारचे?
If you don't mind, आपण म्हणजे ऑफ YouTube घेऊया का प्लीज?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Just, I think if we are done, we can stop the YouTube and then we can continue with the question. There is no problem with the question and answer.
Okay, let me stop the YouTube.